Hello, hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Bold and Raw Talks with me, Benjamin, together with my two guests. Our home resident guest, Lydia Tett Olet, based in the United Kingdom, and together with a new guest for today's parenting show, Mr. Duncan Owiti. And today, as you can see on the screen, we will be focusing on being a parent and also a caregiver with a child living with autism. This is the 16th edition of parenting shows that we normally do every Monday around this time. So it depends where you are. It's normally at 6 p.m. the United Kingdom time or at 8 p.m. East African time. So if you're going to be watching for the first time, remember you can watch a repeat of these shows on my Facebook page, and also you can also watch the same shows on my YouTube channel, Benjamin Junior Bogonko, in case you are going to be watching it later on, compared to the people who are watching it live as I'm doing it now. So I hope you had a nice week. Let me know where you'll be watching us from. And sorry about last week. We could have done this show previous Monday, but due to other commitments, we were not able to have this show. But today we are back on air. So I want to request all the parents who are watching, as always, I ask the parents to mention there on the comments, are you a proud parent? And you are a proud parent of how many? And where are you watching us from? So if you're a parent, you're an uncle, you're an aunt, you are a cousin, you are a parent to be, this is your show, and I welcome you in the next 1 hour. Share the video as much as you can, as my two guests are getting ready to join us in the next few minutes. Let me know where you're watching me from. Please tag as many parents as you can, because this topic here today might actually be touching so many parents all over the world, and that's why I want you to tune in to listen to us and to listen to what Mr. Duncan Owiti will be talking about. He's actually a parent, and also he will share his story of living with a child with autism. Proud parent of what? Let me see. Irene Owino, quickly here. I want to mention your names. Maximila Leavoga, hello there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Omogisha Patience, hey. Irene Owino, I've seen you. Jenny Favored. Lucy Mabior, hello there. Irene Owino, thank you so much for tuning in. Oswagu Ugochi, thank you so much. Blessing Emmanuel from Nigeria, thank you so much for watching. Irene is a proud parent of two. Kopo Johnson watching from Liberia. And Caroline Melissa is also a proud parent of two watching from Dubai. Thank you so much. Glenna Sarange, a proud parent of one from Kisii, Kenya. Thank you so much. And everyone who is tuning in here, I really want to say thank you so much. We want to begin the show now. By bringing in the guests. Lydia, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, and Duncan, are you ready?
Yes, sure.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me have my two guests live on camera now. Lydia, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today again.
Again. We're here.
How was your week?
Well, my week has been good. I love it because the weather is so good now in the UK. It's hot.
Okay.
Today is super hot, but I don't want to complain about the heat because very soon we're going back to that. You know where it is.
To winter and cold weather.
Winter, yes.
Okay, that's nice. And Duncan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, tell me, how was your day today? Today being a Monday, how was your day?
I thank God the day has been pretty well, though Nairobi is right now pretty cold. As you can see me, I'm still in a jacket and a very heavy polo neck. Yeah, it wasn't so easy to step out, but you guys who are abroad, you are used to that kind of weather.
Yes.
But to us right now, it's a bit extreme. If you go to Facebook and every other place, you'll just hear us talking about how extreme it has become this time. Yeah.
Wow. I think
but
July,
so far so good.
This is the first time July has become really cold in Nairobi.
And when they say cold, Benjamin, I laugh because I'm comparing the cold. I'm comparing our cold and the cold of Kenya. I'm like, Jesus, you guys don't even know what cold is.
Okay, but anyway, I hope they are coping up, and I hope Duncan is coping up with the cold situation.
Yes.
All right, Duncan, you are our first guest here today. At least Lydia has been here more than 15 times. Today is our 16th time we are doing this show. And because it's your first time to join me here, you are, I think from the brief history I know about you, you're a parent. And I would like you to introduce yourself to the viewers. Who is Duncan, and why are you here today?
Wow. Thank you so much for having me, Bwana Bogonko and Lydia. Like you said, my name's Duncan Owiti. Um, by profession, I'm a marketing professional, and one of the ways that we actually met and interact with a lot of people probably on this platform, and even Lydia herself, was when I was managing sales and marketing for a company called Longonot Gate. But over and above that, I have a 11-year-old boy who is autistic, and the diagnosis was done right on about his third year, but he developed neonatal sepsis right from birth, and so it is something that we were not so much prepared about the extent, but at least the specialist gave us a hint on what to expect. So the journey has been a journey in itself, but also we thank God because God has been on our side, and we are really, really working so hard to be able to make sure that we have given him the best. And that forms the discussion and what we are coming up with. So I believe I'm going to tell you more about what we are currently doing and why we are doing this. Yes.
Thank you for that introduction. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Duncan, who is a marketing. You said one more time you're a marketing officer, or
yeah, I've been a marketing manager for Longonot Gate. Yeah, but I believe the show today will be on my parental side of things.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, together with us here, Duncan is a parent of an 11-year-old son who is living with autism, and we will be talking about that condition, and he will be sharing his story, how it all began, and where they are at the moment, having a son at 11 years old in this situation. For those who know also Lydia shared a brief history. Lydia, you know, we keep on believing that every time we have new viewers,
yeah.
The reason also why you're here is, please tell the viewers also why you're here today.
Well, we've been doing this for like 16. This is the 16th episode, even though we've missed some because of either Benjamin was busy or I was busy or doing something. But this is the 16th episode, and we've actually touched a lot of topics. And like I always say, that I'm not a therapist or a counselor. I'm just a parent who I have three children, three older children, a 24-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 16-year-old. And as a single parent and in a foreign land, it's not easy to bring up children like that. And I always say that I thank God because this is always my testimony. And I say that sometimes God doesn't give you all. I'm a single mother, so that means I don't have a husband, but I have three beautiful angels that God have blessed me with. There are some people who have husbands and they have beautiful children. Some people only have husbands, they don't have children. Whichever way God has given you, appreciate and love it. For me, God has given me three beautiful angels, and I totally appreciate and love them. And through my journey with them, and also I've worked with a lot of youths who are either their friends or youths that just come out from a different place. People used to call my house, it's a community house, because all the youths who come in, I'll cook for them, they'll sleep, I'll talk to them. So that's when I had this craving, this love for youths. And I thought, you know what, because I've seen how I've raised my children, God have blessed me, raise beautiful children, disciplined children. Let me use the opportunity as well and help other parents out there. And I always say that it's not a guide. We don't have a book that says you have to follow this, but there are guidelines. And even with the guidelines, if you feel like, oh, this is not for me, because sometimes what works for me will not work for you, Benjamin. If you feel this is not for me, don't do it. But that's the guideline. And because what happened with me, that's why I believe that I raised beautiful children, is because I used to attend a lot of courses. I attended seminars, I listened to people talk, I listened to people who have older children talk to me, and I took a lot on board. And those things, I actually use them. And because of that, I was able to bring up children like this. And I also had our last one had special needs. She had autism. And when I brought this topic and we're like, okay, what are we going to talk about, Benjamin? And we said, let's talk about special needs children, because nobody actually talks about that. And we did not even know that it's going to attract so many people like this, because there's so many people who either their children live with special needs and they don't know what to do. And that was our case. We had a sister. She passed on when she was 24 years old. May her soul continue to rest in perfect peace. But when she was around, we didn't know what she had. We didn't know. We were thinking, why is she different? Why is she not like us? Why is she not speaking like us, doing things like us? And because we had no education on what autism was, we mistreated this. We didn't give her the love that she deserved. It's when I started traveling around. Guys, traveling is very good. When I started traveling around and I saw children exactly like my sister, and they were being loved and treated and I was like, what? So I should just take this, implement it to my own sister. So I now gave it to her. And I'm happy that before she passed on, all of us in our family, we changed the mentality and we gave her the love she deserved. But what about all the other years that we did not give her what she needed or what she deserved? And that's why I love these topics. And that's why I always appreciate Benjamin with this platform. And that's why I also appreciate Duncan, you coming in and telling us more, because I can only talk through what I saw my sister going through, but you can talk through what you are living right now. So that's the difference. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lydia, for that. And thank you for that. Also, as a reminder for those who are going to be watching us, especially you, Lydia, for the first time. So back to you, Duncan. Let's go back to the basics. I used to be a teacher before I retired. Somebody who is watching us here about this topic of autism, in a brief language, without using those scientific names. What is autism?
All right. It is a condition which most of the time, as you will see all over the world, even the specialists have not been able to know its cause. But when it happens. And most people, it's a spectrum. So it comes in different phases. Sometimes it comes as a result of a cerebral palsy, like my son Miles. And like Lydia said, you'll start wondering, why is this person not behaving the way you expected them to behave? So sometimes they have delayed milestones. And as a parent of a young kid, the earliest you can always be able to know this is usually, it usually takes a bit of time. And then because by the time you are getting into this kind of situation, you're always clueless, because no one will actually be able to say that, okay, I'm expecting a child and I'm expecting a child with a condition. Everyone, whenever you are going to expect a baby, you expect a perfect baby. And it also comes with that part where you also don't know what to expect, because, okay, like we all know, we are differently made. The way we are created, we are different. Some will come out happy, some will come out not so happy. Our personalities are so different. So sometimes parents actually tend to assume, huyo amechukua personality ya kuwa slow, is a slow learner. Maybe took after the grandfather who was maybe not so talkative, or maybe took after someone who was also hyper, because there are those who have Down syndrome and there are those who are so hyper. So it becomes so difficult for you to know. So most of the time, by the time you now start seeking professional intervention, it's about after some time. Like even in our case, as much as we knew this on the second day, but for us to be able to get proper diagnosis, it took us a bit of time. And that was on his almost third year. That is when you realize that, okay, you have a boy who should have walked by 16, 17 months, or on the second year, he should have walked, but he's not walked. Other milestones children are acquiring, he cannot be able to do that. So that's when now you say, okay, seriously, there is something. But over and above that, the most other important part, which also comes out, and the reason why we are currently talking about this, is that autism doesn't have a face. There is no way you'll be able to know this person has a problem unless you are keen, unless you take 1 minute, unless you are experienced, or you've experienced such a like situation in your life like Lydia had. But otherwise, if you're coming from a family where no one has ever gone through this, you are actually going to have a challenge. So for situations where one is missing the milestones, as a keen parent, probably that's where you'll now start going out and maybe seeking intervention. And then it comes with another challenge that, especially like here in Kenya, not so many people are well versed with it. And if you look at also the state of our healthcare, you realize that by the time you really are going for that professional, you have taken so many trips to different places. You've been advised left, right, and center. And most of the time, you are also misadvised. By the time someone sits you down and tells you, okay, this one, I think you need to take this route. And even you as a parent accepting it and saying, okay, my child has a situation, has a special need, and I need to attend to it. You will have taken so many trips.
So your first
brief,
3 years, your first 3 years was a little bit. The child had not. You mentioned that your son had not walked even after 2 years.
Yes.
Any other signs?
He walked in his third year. And you can imagine waiting for 3 years. And that was now after we had now sought professional intervention, and now we were going through the right things. We were now going through going through therapy. We were giving him the right medicine. We had now understood the environment, how he needed to be brought up. If you are out, how do you manage noise? How do you manage him when he's with other kids? Because first of all, you expect that if you have a child and he sees other children, he should be able to run to them and try and go and play with them. But this is now the opposite. An autistic child will actually walk away from them. When they go to play with him, they will always walk away.
So when other kids were coming to your son, he was always walking away from them.
He will actually seclude himself. Then comes the part of now being able to communicate to him. My son is currently still nonverbal. So you can imagine other kids are talking and he cannot be able to communicate. Then also it comes the part of now the eye contact. Most of the time they will avoid looking at you in the eye. You'll be giving him something, but he'll be looking somewhere as he stretches his hand towards you. So you start wondering. And especially if someone who is not experienced, at times they will start saying, I think your boy is so rude. Why is he not looking at people? Why is he, you see, like, especially with the African and us being brought up, they expect the child to be in a way that they can be able to respond. And now he's not responding. Then it comes to a situation where probably you have some elderly visitors and they walk to you and he's not replying them. He's not looking at them in the eyes. So you see, they start blaming your upbringing. Like Lydia said, she's happy that she's brought up beautiful and disciplined children. If the reverse happened, that your boy doesn't speak back or doesn't answer you, and probably there's a stranger coming in. Yes, and some maybe you have a guest in the house and the guest is saying hi, and the child is just looking at that guest. You see, it changes a lot of things. So generally, first of all, as a parent, the first thing is it's always a very big shock. It is a big shock. It takes you time to come to terms with it. Then as a natural human being, your first reaction is denial. You would just say, no, that's not my kid. Then with the Christian setup, you'll be sent to the church. If it is not working in the medical field, go and seek spiritual intervention. And then sometimes you reach at the church and maybe even the pastors and also the ushers have no clue what they're handling. So
those first 3 years, Lydia, you can imagine the first 3 years, Duncan was moving up and down, going to different clinics and visiting or seeing different doctors with different advice. And that is really, really frustrating. And people are not, like Duncan has said, there were people who are actually misadvising him, like telling him, maybe, I'm assuming there were doctors or nurses who are telling you, your son will be better. Just give him time. And And Lydia, I don't know about your story, if you really remember about your sisters. So I want to come back to you, your sister. During those first years, do you have any memory or clues or what was happening to her?
No, because for us, I think it's more of my parents who will have been in where Duncan's situation is right now. For us, we were just ignorant sisters who didn't understand and didn't really care to understand. And so I can understand what Duncan is going through, because even before those 2 years, I mean, like you rightfully said, you had seen so many professionals who actually misdiagnosed your son, because that happens until now. And I think for the denial part of it is when now you've met a professional who is now telling you this is what's wrong with your son, and you're thinking, hell no, this is not, it's not, there's nothing like that, because so and so and so and so told me this prior to us coming and meet you. So you're actually looking at the doctor and thinking you are the one who is wrong. I think everybody else was right. But again, when you're looking at your child and you see the behavior of your child and the eye contacts and all this, you're talking about the speech therapy, maybe the walking, the way they behave, you know something is wrong, but yet you don't want to accept. You know, like when you know that you're going to ask for a favor and you know the answer is no, but you're scared, you don't want to ask. So it's the same thing. You know this is what's wrong with your son. But what I just want to ask is, did you know about autism prior to this? Did you know anything about autism prior to your son being diagnosed with it?
Wow. I'm glad that you asked. The question, the answer is no. Neither did my wife. So it comes in as a shock. And that is why you'll spend a bit of time denying it. And then, you know, like most of the time, the question will come as in, about now your family background. Has someone ever had something like that? And you sit down and you crack your head and you don't see any picture coming into your head. And you say, no, we haven't experienced something like this. Then you go to your partner and you're like, can you ask at your background, is there any something like this? And no, there's nothing like this. And then the myths start coming in, and that is where everything goes off. That is where now you lose it completely, because the society does not understand. So because they don't understand, they're going to label you. And the main objective why we are doing this is just to demystify this, that this is a medical and a health condition that needs to be addressed well at the right time.
Yes.
And should you find yourself in such a situation, please do 1, 2, 3, and we are forming up our support groups to be able to talk to each other. And the other part that the group that we are coming up with is doing is that we are now bringing in the father's perspective.
The father.
I believe you've heard the mother's perspective 1,000 times.
Yes.
The father's perspective has been missing in all this. I go to a lot of meetings with meeting parents with children with the special needs, and sometimes you just find yourself alone, or if kama mko wengi, maybe you are two,
just
and
two
you find
men.
about maybe 2 men. Like the last one I went last week at Saleh Hotel, you are only 2 gentlemen out of an attendance of about 45.
Wow.
Now you are there, yes, and then no one also expects you to feel the pain. But remember, I have a son who bears my name. It is my responsibility. And I have to work hard so that he can be fine. And even if he's not, I have to step in as a father. And we are not running away from it. And that is why we are talking to fellow men and tell them, listen, this is a situation that you need to come in. If you have been running away from it, man up. Let's come back to this situation and let us work with our wives, let us work with our mothers, let us work with our sisters. Because the worst situation is now your boy is 17, 18, and your family doesn't even have the financial background to be able even to support them, to have a caregiver. You don't expect your wife to take and give this boy a thorough shower, and you're there. As much as in the African setup, you don't expect a father to give a shower to his son. But yes, we have to man up and be able to do that at this time, because
really
it is something that we have to work on.
That's really bringing the fathers. But before we talk about the father's aspect and how men react when they get this news, You mentioned something earlier on about the second day when your son was born, and probably you noticed something that was, and maybe you're the nurse, or what exactly happened on the first day of when your son was born?
First of all, my wife went through very prolonged labor. I think this was about 72 hours, about 3 days. So that really sapped her energy and everything. And then the other part was, by the time the baby came, she had not yet been prepared and she wasn't in the theater. So the bed wasn't sterilized. It came as a shock. This lady has been here for the last 3 days. Nothing is going to happen. You see? Yeah, they're actually telling you, hata uende nyumbani, you come when you feel you are ready. And being a primate, that wasn't, we were not very well versed with this kind of situation. So the boy comes when she's not in the theater, and the bed is not sterilized. So by the time the process is completed, about 70%, 80% has taken place in unsterilized condition. You see. So by the time we got discharged and we went home, the following day, the boy wasn't sucking. And then we could see a lot of fluids coming from his mouth. And we said, no, this is not so right. We don't expect this to happen to the boy. So by the morning, we rushed to the hospital. When we just gave the story, they sent us to a specialist. So when we went to see this specialist, she was quick. She's called Dr. Wimbo. She's in Mombasa. She was quick, and she told us, first of all, the first thing is I'm gonna admit the baby, and then we are going to talk about other things later. But for now, let us see what we can be able to do, because I am trying to run against time to stop the spread of whatever infection he has. So first week, you are spending 14 days in the hospital. And that brings the other aspect, the financial burden. And then the situation is, most of also our insurances do not also appreciate that. So you are there, you have no clue whether to go left or right, but you have to manage this. And also, you remember the fact that your wife has just given birth, so she's not yet well.
Yes.
So you are admitting 2 patients at the same time.
This was your first child, I believe. You said it was a premier, so the first time you're becoming a parent.
Yes. So that was a shock. We thank God the community we were in was receptive. My sisters-in-law, my brothers-in-law, and my friends I was working with were a bit understanding. And so they stood with us. But by the first year, we had spent close to about 1.8 million in terms of medical bills.
1.8 million Kenyan shilling, that's about
Kenyan shillings.
That's about 20,000 US dollars.
Yes, and remember, at this time, you were ready as a parent. You had already made some provisions. Now you have to go an extra mile, and you have to work very hard to cover that. Even if you had this money in savings, it's not going to be there. And now the route is not going to be very, very soft on you.
So you mean the first year, Duncan, sorry to cut you. So the first year you are spending on and off in the hospital?
So many times. I remember there was a month we were operating from the hospital. I would go to work, come back from work, go to the hospital, relieve her to go home, because she had spent the whole day there, so she's also tired. She would go home, takes now some serious rest. Then in the morning, she would come, or we would do the vice versa. I would go to work, I would go to the hospital, I would go to work, ask for permission, come and stay with the boy. She would go to our workplace, work, then come back and stay at the hospital the whole night. So unatembea na bag, you're carrying your bag, someone thinks you are carrying your work tools. These are your clothes, eh? You might
After
as well
work,
go
you
and
go back
sleep
to the
in the
hospital.
hospital. You go to the hospital, you'll take a shower there, you change the following day, and you go back to the office. So it was a big challenge. It was a big challenge, and right now looking back, I thank God a lot, and we just say God has been great, because without Him, we don't know.
Okay.
We really don't know. Yeah.
I see, Lydia, you're just shaking your head.
Yeah, so
to have a man, a first child, and the child is in this condition, spending a lot of money, moving. What do you think about Duncan so far?
I mean, I wanted to say this at the end of the show, but I think I'll say now that you've asked me. I wanted to ask him, do you have a brother with a heart like yours?
When I get one, I'll refer it to you. I'll refer it to you.
I mean, it's profound to see a man with such a heart, because a lot of times, like you rightfully said, you're in a meeting, 42 people, and only 2 are men. So that just shows you how a lot of men cannot handle situations like this. So for you to actually stay there for your child is something that it requires a word. Not that it's a normal thing that you should be doing as a parent anyway, but it's an extra mile that you've gone. So that is something that we just say thank you so much. And I just wanted to say that because of what you were saying, that when they told you about the child autism, what's your child's name, by the way?
Miles.
His name is Miles.
Miles.
Yeah, Miles. Yeah.
When they told you about Miles, in fact, my nephew is called Miles. So when they told you about Miles, and I know you started thinking and scratching your head and thinking, oh my God, do we have this in our family? And then your wife, and there was nobody who had it. So just to let the viewers know that this is not inherited. It can just happen. Like people who have migraine. We have people who have really, really bad migraine. Migraine they've not inherited from anywhere. They just started. We have some people who generation to generation to generation, nobody had cancer. All of a sudden, one person has cancer. So things can happen, and having autism is just any other thing that can either go wrong with the brain, can go wrong with development somewhere. So it's not something that it's your fault or the woman's fault or the man's fault or it's inherited. So it can just happen, like yours just happened. My sister's one as well just happened, because there's nobody in my mom's lineage or my dad's lineage that has autism. It just happened because my mom took so long in the theater before she gave birth. The doctor wasn't there on time. She overstayed. I don't know if the oxygen went to the brain or something happened, and my sister had autism. So it's the same thing. So the reason why I'm saying it's not inherited, I know, because when they diagnose this, blame games start coming in. Games start coming in.
You are right.
Or let me say in English, some people don't understand. Last time someone told us all for it. It's you guys that have been bewitched. It's your family. It's this. So blame games start coming in. So I just want to ask, did you get any blame games in this? Either your family or your wife's family or yourself or anybody within your area?
A lot, and a lot to an extent that at one time you even don't want them to pay you a visit, because you know very well the reaction they're going to have, and you are really not ready for that.
Exactly.
That is now the family. And also the prescription that they're going to give you is also very funny, because one, they are trying to prescribe an alternative to medicine which has never been tried and tested in that kind of situation. So
that's the family.
Yeah, now that's the family. You know, every in the family, everyone has an idea of some medicine.
Yes.
Everyone,
Yeah.
Anajua
everyone
kitu.
knows someone. Yeah, someone who can be able to help
This is
you sort
very, very
these kind
common. It's
of
very
things.
common. Everyone has advice about
Yes,
everything and anything.
Yes.
yes. So and then you realize that the honest truth is they haven't had this real situation with them, so they're also grappling in the dark. Just like you said, Lydia, by the time you are getting a child, we don't have a manual.
Mm.
Yes, so everyone is trying to advise you. Some are not advising you and are not really sympathizing with you, but they are in this situation with you just to be able to see how you are going to handle it and what will become out of it. So it
Mm.
becomes very, very funny. So, and then because of that and with the stigma associated, you close yourself. You just don't want them. You just don't want a lot of drama. You just say, okay, you are my cousin, it's all right. Can we come and pay you a visit? That is now when you have a trip which was not there. That is when now you have to go somewhere where you have never gone. Why? Because you are just avoiding these issues. Now that is now within the family. Now let's come back to the society.
Whoa.
You are living in a neighborhood where people do not know much about autism, and the branding comes. They expect a child to play with other children, and he's not. Then maybe some of the kids, the way they were brought up, being a little bit aggressive, when your child start playing with them, now they also now become aggressive. So you see, your son cannot explain himself, and the other boy or the other baby is taking advantage. So you have to get in as a parent. And that's a very murky situation, because most of the time, since the boy cannot explain himself, you are the one who is on a very awkward position there, even to be able to get yourself out. So you realize that getting out of it becomes a little bit murky. Now, I've taken my son to town on a public transport vehicle. It's not something that you want to do. So there is other reason why we are getting out and talking about this thing is just to talk to the society. The Kenyan public transport is 100% on the private hands, and it is the one who can be able to do the loudest music. And maybe put some kind of lights inside that matatu. And those are the things that the boy is running away from.
Yeah.
Because when you do loud music, they get a meltdown. When you put them in those strobe lights, now they get confused. Actually, some end up getting convulsions. Some can die. I can't put my son in where there's strobe lights. I have to protect him against that. So you just have to know that. Now, imagine having this discussion with a Kenyan matatu operator. Please, could you kindly reduce the music? Because I have a boy who cannot tolerate that. You know how that conversation usually goes. You can't win. A few will really be able to understand. That's why we are also currently talking to them. We are currently talking to the matatu owners or operators and just telling them, listen, there are situations that these people cannot handle. Just tone down the music. And some will actually listen to you. Or better still, you will have to get out and wait for another one. And imagine a situation where you are rushing to the hospital. So it is a situation that needs a lot of grace and a lot of understanding. Then you go to the public hospital, especially in the Kenyan setup, and we all know the queue.
Yeah.
So you have a special child, you want to see the doctor, and you are in the department where children are taken care of. So someone will ask you, what is so special about your kid, so that we can give you preference? Why do you have to be preferred? And all these are children like just a child. So you have to have the grace even to be able to explain to them. And even after explaining to them, you don't expect them also to understand so fast. So it teaches you a lot about being able to be patient and being able just to talk to people and understand that they don't understand. So currently what we're actually doing is making them understand, just not ignoring them, not assuming the fact that they should behave better, they should do anything better, but just to be able to understand. There was a situation where my son got a meltdown in public, and that is when people now will now try even now to bring you to your senses and show you, boss, this is not a child. You have probably stolen this child, and that's why this child is running away.
Whoa.
So it will take, because when they get a meltdown, they don't want you, they repel against anything, and most of the time they run off. So and he's strong, so when he runs off, you have to run after him and get hold of him. Now, what about the public? Someone who was keenly looking at you and seeing you struggling to constrain the boy, and then the boy breaks off, and then you're trying to run after the boy. You can easily get yourself in a very murky situation. So it takes a few people to be able even to listen to you and know, okay, you are handling someone with a special situation. So we need to help you instead of castigating you. And this time it was in Isili, and Isili is so full. If it gets out of your hands within 2 minutes, it's gonna land on the road, and that is where the worst can take place. So if you go out with them and you are not really in control of the situation, it's not a very easy thing. And that's why we are out here saying, listen, if you see someone going through this kind of situation, please help them. Instead of pointing a finger at them, help them. And also do some homework and understand, if someone is talking about autism, what do I do? What do I need to understand? The burden is not only on you. Actually, what I always tell people whenever I talk to them about autism, I tell them, listen, my son is autistic, that is fine. I'm at peace with that. But just know that I'm also traumatized.
Yes.
So as you are dealing with this condition, just know that I'm the one who is feeling that condition, because he cannot be in a situation that he will explain that to you, but I talk on his behalf. So just deal with me like you are dealing with them. So first of all, what we always say whenever we have that meeting is that we just tell each other that we are also patients. Whenever we take them to see a doctor, the doctor also needs also to take you through also some counseling, just some reassurance, just some good direction, so that you are also confident that someone else is also on your side, not against you. And that is why in my last interview at KBC, we were also even talking to the government, and we were telling them, listen, you now have an NHIF which covers including cancer, but NHIF doesn't cover medicine for autistic children. So we are telling them, listen, you have to bring, and yes, it doesn't, and it is so costly, I can tell you. If you watch the link I sent you, the one I had on KBC, it is very costly. It's very costly. They don't cover their medication, but they will cover other things. But then also they don't cover therapies. Now, if you go to the schools within the country, the kind of schools, special schools we have, cannot be able to speak to the specific needs. They generalize them. And then we tell them, no, these children have different learning capabilities. There are those who are visual. There are those who work well with the graphics and things they are seeing. There are those who can listen well. There are those whom you can give instructions and they can follow. So why don't we have, not only do we try to make them know how to live, but in those schools, can we have therapies? Can we have therapy sessions? Can we have something just to be able to help them live a normal life? Now, the other bigger part where we are also doing a lot of work is in the church. Pastors do a good job in terms of being able to talk to the congregation and being able to encourage and even pray for the parents and the children. But now the challenge comes in with the ushers. If this usher is not trained well to be able to understand what autism is all about, you're going to have a big problem there. What if that child gets a meltdown? you are going to have a lot of hard work there. So what we tell them is, listen, if you don't understand what this is all about, why don't we take a minute and explain to you? When a child has a meltdown, this is what you need to do. When you see this child coming into the church and is probably 15, 16 and is not giving you eye contact, do not assume that probably this boy is not well brought up and is avoiding eye. Some will not look at in the eye. And some of them, you'll tell them to sit down, but they will ignore where you tell them to sit down, and they will go and sit somewhere where they feel comfortable with. And then if you get one who's, because there are those who grow up to be adults who are still nonverbal. And it's not that they're not hearing, because sometimes they check and they realize that the ears are functioning very well, but this boy just needs therapy to be able to talk. But you realize that he's probably 16, 17. He can walk, he can do everything, but he cannot talk. What do you do with that situation? Because you will talk to him and expect him to talk to you back. He's not. So you'll end up also assuming maybe he's mute also and not hearing. So you might start the sign languages, yet this boy just wants you to give him the instruction. He will not reply you, but he will follow the instruction if you give them the instruction well. And then most of the cultures and most of the setup we have here is when someone doesn't listen to you, or if you perceive that someone did not understand you at the first time, the second one is always like a rebuttal. You always want now to shout. And when you shout to them, you send them away. They call, like my boy, he will call and go to his corner and he doesn't want to talk to you again. So if you are repeating the same instruction, repeat it, but calmly, so that the boy and the child can now be able to know, he's just repeating the same instruction. So it is a long journey, Bwana Benjamin.
Wow. I'm just imagining that it's like everyone needs to know something about autism. Everyone. Lydia, everyone, yes. Everyone around you, the neighbors, the people who are using public transportation, even the viewers who are, anyone needs to understand what autism is all about. And if your children are actually normal and they're not living with this condition, it is much better for you to be aware of and not assume that, oh, that child is being rude, or that child is, the parents are not good parents. They are not raising their sons very well. And thank you for sharing that. The question which I want to ask you, Duncan, now, as we go on, and I don't know, Lydia, what you have for him, but let me ask you this. I like motivating people. That's my passion. Inspiring people to go beyond the things they thought they could not do. Over the years, since you discovered that your son is actually born and living with this condition, what is one thing that kept you going, that you didn't want to go? I know you have mentioned God. Sometimes I challenge people, I say, putting God aside. I know God has really been kind to you, to give you wisdom, to be there, never to run away and abandon your wife together with your son. What has kept you going for the last 11 years?
One is that I was brought up with a single parent. So that lack of fatherly touch, every day it resonates in my head, and I say, no, my son is not going to be brought up without me, unless, God forbid, I go to be with the Lord. But as long as I'm alive, it's going to be within my control. Number one. Number two, you can't give up on your own child, irrespective of his situation. You can't give up on them. And so every day you're gonna try and do something new, you're gonna try everything. And I can tell you, for the last 2 years, we have seen a lot of changes in his life. He can now be able to take instructions. He can now be able to do a lot of things, which at first, before we came to the realization of what we know now, we could not be able to train him. And then the other important thing is that you, as a parent, you are the first therapist to your child. So like you're saying that you like to inspire people. My inspiration has always been, I had to go through this thing for a reason. And that reason is to make others who are coming after me be better people. Let them not live in ignorance. Let them be able to learn something, know something, do something. And that's why we are having this kind of a show. And I'm so grateful for inviting me and even for talking to me today, because the masses we've now been able to reach will also disseminate this information to other people, and now we are going to have a better society. Actually, we are coming as we are about 4 families with children with special needs, and the general part is autism. And we have said, listen, our boys are going to live in a good environment because we are going to prepare that environment for them. Our neighbors have to know. Even right now in this presentation, all my neighbors have tuned in and they are listening, and they know my son, and they know when my son knocks at their door, they know. So it's not like it's a strange thing to them. So you start at home, then now you walk away from home to the bigger society.
Beautiful.
And the work hasn't been easy because we've been really working very hard to be able to do it. But yes, we are getting breakthrough, and reaching brothers is not very easy. Sometimes after this kind of show, you'll get like about 20, 30 calls, and only 2 from men, and they will tell you, my wife will call you. But I tell them, no, it's you I'm talking to. So your wife will talk to your wife probably later, maybe, but today it is you. So let us just have this discussion. And you always have a very beautiful discussion when someone knows that you're also going through the situation and you are doing something to be able to make it better. So we are 4 families coming together just to be able to work on this, and we are focused on creating awareness and also advocacy. And the main big thing we are saying is, listen, children with autism do not stop at being children. They grow up to be people. And when they grow up to be people, you are going to experience this with them, even if as an adult. Now, when you meet them as an adult and you do not have any information about this, it becomes even worse. So it's better we know, and we know that when these people grow up and they become adults, we are going to handle adults with these conditions. And to me, like we always say, they are just differently abled. So you want to call any other name? No. These are our people. They are our brothers. They are our sisters. They are our sons. They are our daughters. And we have to do everything to be able to make them stand out in the community. And we've seen a lot of them doing beautiful things. Locally, abroad, we've seen a lot of testimonies when the environment is right, when the community knows how to go about it, when people are ready to work with them. And we know that it is doable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Wow. What an inspirational story we're having here today. And if you're a parent who is watching this for the first remember that we always do this show every Monday. So in case you're watching us for the first time, me and Lydia, together with our guest here, Duncan, this is not the first time we're doing the show. I just want to remind the new viewers, you can follow and like this page. You can reach out to Lydia Tett Olet. That is her Facebook name. Together with Duncan Owiti is going to be giving his social media handles if you need kind of inspiration from him and a lot of insights on how to deal with the situation of a child living with autism. We are always open to you as our new viewers. So please follow and share this video. And that's why I always encourage people, please, when you see a video and you see a topic that is speaking directly to some of the things going on in your family or to you as a man or as a woman, as a father or as a mother, it's better to just share the video. When you share it on your timeline and you leave it there, you have no idea who will come across this video and watch it and begin to change their mentality about this topic that we are talking about. Lydia, I want to come back to you. What would you like to chime in as we wind up?
Yeah, I just want to say to Duncan again, that support system in place is very important. And for everybody out there, support system is very, very important. Whether you're a parent with able body or a child with special needs and you're struggling, get support system. Get support system, especially the ladies. Right now I'm talking to the ladies, especially the ladies who feel like they don't have support system, so they just have to go and get any man and bring any man in their house where they have children. And I know that's a topic for another day, Benjamin, but just because we're talking about support system, because Duncan have raised that, is just have a support system like they have. Duncan, they have 4 families they're all going through the same thing, so they're able to encourage and support and motivate each other. So get a support system in place. And something as well, the judgmental community, I always call them little demons, because those people really annoy me, because they are judges who didn't even go to school. They, and behind closed doors, they're worse than what they're judging you for.
They are judges without salary.
Judges without salary. Judges without salary. And have you, so this is a question to you, Duncan. Have you found yourself in this situation that you have to explain to this person, because they look at your child and they think, oh my God, what a rude child, or what a rebellious child, or what, this child is not brought up properly. They look at your child and judge your child, and then now you have to explain. Have you found yourself in such situations?
I have, and believe you me or not, it was in a very awkward situation, because that was the church.
That's where it starts.
Yes.
The church is where we have serious judges there.
Yes. And you realize that, okay, what this has taught me is to know that probably you are dealing with ignorance, and ignorance, the best way to beat ignorance is to inform them. Instead of judging them and putting them aside, just spend time with them. It's going to take a lot of your energy. It's going to take a lot of emotional energy. It will probably work you out one time or the other. Honestly, before God, I've been worked out, not once, not twice. But later on, when I come down to my senses, I say, okay, maybe I probably need to do better. And I thank God, because I've gone through several therapies just to be able to bring me back to my senses. So that has really been very important for us. And then, like the clarion call you are making, Lydia, we are also doing the same. And also even the people who are abroad, if you would also be able to walk with us this route, I'll give you my contacts to be able to help us walk this route. Apart from that, Lydia, I'll share with you a link. We are on crowdfunding. We are doing some funding to be able to come up with a recovery center. So far, I have a few friends in the US who are, we did put up a funding 2 weeks ago. And so we believe that with the right people, I can share with you the link, then they can now be able to come together and even make the idea even better, because we believe we cannot close ourselves to ourselves and think we are better. No, we know there are people there who would be able to walk with us this route, and we are open to be able to walk this route. So, yeah.
I want to ask you. Yeah, thank you so much. The link, you can actually share it there on the comment, because I know you're watching me also, Duncan, on my page. You can type and put the link there later on towards the end of the show. But one more question which I want to ask you is, in this situation you are in right now, are there moments you almost gave up? Just to be honest, like, you're like, this one, no. I think I need another woman. Yeah.
No,
there's
actually,
a man. I'm sure there's a man who is watching us. There's a father who is almost, or who has left.
Yeah.
Who has left when he found out this is the situation. There are so many men who have left. Then the woman, the mother, has to take care, because there's a time. One lady told me she gave birth to a child who was not able to see and not to hear, and she was in denial, and she was just 22-years old. So the child was 2 years, cannot see, cannot hear. And she was telling me she's planning to go and throw away the child anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
It has happened. It has happened, and sometimes you feel it is a lot on you, and you go back on your knees. I'm a very prayerful person, and I tell God, whatever reason you did this for, give me the strength. I always pray for strength and wisdom, just to be able to handle that one situation at a time, because it's not easy. Then it becomes more tough and much more difficult, because it depletes your finances. Actually, most people with persons with disabilities are not poor. It is only that it is very expensive.
It's expensive to treat.
Very expensive. My son's medication rounds up to about $200 a month.
$200
that is without the
every
therapy.
month.
Yeah, that is without therapy. And remember, NHIF is not providing it, so it has to go down.
Wow.
And you have an 11-year-old, and you still need a caregiver. So you see, if my budget was like someone who doesn't have that, my budget will be pretty simple. And where someone else can hitchhike or get into a matatu, if I don't have my car, I'll have to pay Uber.
So
Yeah,
on average in a month,
Uber,
that was the question which I also wanted to ask you. How much are you spending now to just take care of your son every month?
it is a lot, because one, apart from the medication, they're also on special diet, because if you give them food which are not very good with them, then you bring a lot of issues. So the special diet means special consideration in food, special time, you see, and also other things, because also even when it comes to dressing, they are very sensitive with the dressing. There's that kind of material, if it touches his body, you are going to fight. You won't put it on. And probably it was one of the best clothes you wanted him to put on. So you are also even keen on the texture of the clothes you make them wear. And then they're also very sensitive, even if they don't want a particular type of shoe or the color of that shoe. Even if you had already bought it, listen, you're going to just give it away, because he's not going to put it on. And if he loves one, then you're going to look for that kind of shoe like 100 times, because he will put it on until it is over. Then you have to get another one. Then you have to get another one. So in the terms of cost, you really, I haven't been able to quantify, as in sit down and do the maths, because, as a father, you always do the general budget for the family. And when you do that general budget for the family, you specifically, like the one which now touches him alone, is on the diet and medication, and also on therapy. So diet, medication, therapy, we are talking about a cool about $500 USD at any given month.
$500 a month.
Yeah, you haven't, because for therapy he has to take like twice in a week. Each therapy is about that's about $40. They'll take about 4,000 Kenya shillings to see a specialist, and that is for probably 2 hours, and you have to do like 2 in a week. Because if it is not also very consistent, then they lose the milestone that they've already gained.
This is something that you have to do over, and you don't stop. It has to go on.
So the best is always, you yourself also, you have to be a therapist, so you have to learn it. Yeah, you have to learn it. Whenever it's being taken for therapy, you must be keen. And then also it brings in another part of you, because now if you're gonna go to work and you're going to leave them with a caregiver, then it means you have to train that caregiver.
And to trust the caregiver.
And trust. And that means you also have to be extremely sensitive and also good. Otherwise, we always say you give them that, they give it back to your child. So you really don't want your child to be in such a situation. So you really have to be good. And some will run. There was one who ran and left the boy alone at 10 a.m. in the morning, and we were coming back in the house at 5 p.m. Wow. From 10 to 5, the boy was alone in the house. And he had found sugar and had leaked as much sugar. We did not sleep for 2 days. So it is a lot, but thank God. And that is why we are telling also people who are going through this that yes, it's not easy, but it is doable. And you are not alone. You are not alone. We are there to be able to work together, to hold each other hands. Sometimes we have Zoom meetings. Sometimes we have group calls, and we just talk and encourage one another. And we also just do that therapy to our fellow parents. Whenever one is down, we can just go and pay them a visit and tell them, you can make it. Yeah, Leo, for today, let it be as it has been, but tomorrow it will be better. And Lydia, the video I sent you, there is a lady, the lady whom we were with has 2 boys, aged 12, 11, and 13, who are both autistic. Now you can imagine.
If one is tough, how about 2? Because I hosted actually last year, I think 2 years ago, I hosted a lady and who is in a long distance marriage. So the husband is away. He had to go to another country to work and raise the money to take care of the 2 sons. And now the lady is staying together with the two sons who are living with autism. And so you can imagine the father is not around because of finances, as you said.
Yeah, like that one, she says the father fled.
No. The father went abroad to look for money to take care of this. He went to look specifically for money because it was becoming too expensive, and he wanted to be there for the sons. But staying together with the mother and the sons was becoming so expensive for him. He went. He has been away, I think, for, if I remember her story very well, over 10 years. But he's always sending a lot of money every month for the therapy, for the medication. Sometimes he visits, and but he didn't run away, like running and abandoning the woman. No, this is a parent who I know has been there. But the lady, when she was sharing her story, she said exactly, you can imagine dealing with the two sons, both of them living with autism. Sometimes she's like running mad, but she said the best thing, that even what Lydia said, her family members have been there for her. The family never abandoned her. The mother, her sisters, they have been there, and they totally took time to understand what is autism. And they have been, when you look at her, even when she was doing the interview with me, you could see that she's very relaxed and not stressed out and not tired and very jovial. And yeah, so that support system
she had a support system, which is very key.
Very important.
Key, yeah.
Because I asked her the same question. I asked her the same question. What is helping her? And she said, is the mother and her sisters have been there since day one up to now.
Yeah. So this support system, what we are also saying is that you may not have a child or someone living with autism in your family, but you are able to help as a professional. You are able to lend a hand. You are able just to come and probably offer help and consolation. We welcome you, because we know you are a community. The more you can be able to do, the little you can be able to do is what we are looking forward to, so that tomorrow our kids can be able to live in an environment which is friendly, which is understanding, where even if your boy walks out in the streets and someone can be able to identify that that is an autistic boy, then he'll be treated well. Even if he gets lost, he'll be able to. They'll be able to find a way to be able to trace you back. And even in case he falls in the hands of the authority, and maybe someone takes them to the police are also aware that this situation should be managed in an XYZ way. So that is why we are doing this, and we are so encouraged with the platforms like your own platform that are able to be strong and be able to tell us, listen, this is something that we would like to share.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lydia, we're about to finish now. What is your final words for this show, and especially to Duncan and any parent watching us today?
Yeah, what I can say is what I've learned with children with autism, because my next door neighbor actually has a son who has autism, is very severe. He has severe autism. I've spoken to so many people. What I want to tell parents out there, if you have a child who has autism, don't think because you're a mom or you're a dad, the child will resonate with your love. No, they only will resonate with you because you're a parent. Children with special needs, especially autism or special needs, they only resonate with love. If you give them love, they will love you and they'll give it back to you. They don't know, because they don't know if this is my mom or this is my dad. Let me love them. Like able-bodied children will do. They'll know, this is my mom, this is my dad, this is a stranger. For them, it's love that they resonate with. So don't think because you're a parent and come back and say, this child doesn't love me, this child is this, and start throwing tantrums and start throwing toys out of your pram because your child does not relate with you because you're the mom or you're the dad. They only resonate with love. So these children, whether they're special needs or not, they need love. So as parents, let's give our best. Don't try. There's no trying. Do it. Because you gave birth to these children. So you can't say, I'm going to try my best. There's no trying your best. You're doing it. You're doing your best. Trying is something that you can try today. Is hard. If it's hard, you leave it because it's hard. I tried. When you're a parent, there's nothing like trying. When you're a parent, it's doing it. Because nobody asked you to be a parent. You are a parent now. So you do it and you do your best. Do not try. Do your best. And to Duncan, I can just say, I thank you so much for standing by the side of your wife and your son. That is a normal thing that we should do as human beings, but it's not something that a lot of human beings do, especially men. That's why I'll just say thank you for that, and thank you so much, Benjamin, once again for this platform, because I know a lot of people, whether they have special needs children or not, they are healing from this. And even somebody who don't have children yet, even if they have children one day and maybe the child has special needs or don't have special needs, they'll still learn a lot. So thank you so much, Benjamin, for the platform. And also thank you so much for the viewers, everybody who came, took your time to watch and share as well. Thank you so much. One love.
Thank you so much, Lydia. And Duncan, finally for you, how can people reach you, especially those who would like to get some help from you?
All right. Thank you so much. For the number, you can get me on +254 723.
I'm gonna type it there on the screen. Can you repeat that? +254.
+254 723 10 30 50.
10 30 50.
Yeah.
All right. I just edited there.
And then for on Facebook, you'll just get me just with my name, Duncan Owiti, DANCAN Owiti.
Duncan Owiti on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
On Facebook. So for now, we are keeping it at that because we are just about to wrap up everything and bring them into one platform for the support group. So we are based in Nairobi, and the one of the family is out of Nairobi. So what we do is sometimes probably after maybe 2-3 months we go and see them, and also whenever they're in Nairobi we come together and just be able to sit together. And most of the time we bring all our children together so that we also learn and see the way they interact. And
the 4
that also teaches us.
The 4 families?
Yes, sometimes we bring them together and we see the way they interact, and then we also get to learn. But basically, the most important part is support and what Lydia said, love. If you find a nonverbal who cannot nonverbal, the only language that person understands is love. Well, if you give them a good thing, you are able to feed them, talk to them politely, embrace them, because they're also very sensitive to touch, then they are going to walk that road with you.
Okay.
So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lydia, and thank you, Duncan.
Sorry, Benjamin. Can you just put the link you was talking about as well?
Yeah, you can go ahead and copy paste the link and put it on my comment section. The link was about funding, or what was the link about?
Yes. It's about funding. It's about funding. What we are currently doing is we are raising funds to be able to do how do you call it, a recovery center. So we are doing it under GoFundMe. And
I've seen
so
the link
far,
on the comments. Yes. Let me pin the comment.
Yeah. So it is. We are working on that so that we can be able to come up with that center. The budget is already there. And also, what we are also saying is, you don't have to limit your support to that. Even in terms of just therapy, talking to people, being able to encourage them, that is fine. Or even when it comes to sensory equipments and sensory enhancement equipment, you can always reach us and see how we can be able to receive them and be able also to help each other with them. Because without this proper kind of education and knowledge to these people, and also support to them, it's not easy. And remember one thing, Lydia and Benjamin, there are so many people there who cannot be able to talk about it, and there's so many children hidden because of this situation, because the society has really put them in a situation where the parents cannot talk. So the parents are now just saying it is okay. But if they get a voice, or even if they get your support just to be able to come out and say, okay, my son can now be able to do 1, 2, 3, it's something that we can make the world a better place for tomorrow.
Beautiful. So anyone who would like to support you can go, that's the link there, GoFundMe. And you can take a screenshot of this if you are going to be watching this later on YouTube, on how to support Duncan together with what ideas he has, and the project, especially building a recovery center and to create awareness to the people. For me, all I can say, thank you so much, Duncan, for finding time to
Thank
come
you too.
and, to come and talk to us and the viewers and the people who follow me on social media platform. I don't take it for granted. And anyone who was here with us since the beginning up to now, I want to sincerely also say thank you. If you just join in late, like I see Akisha Joseph is saying, I am so late. Yes, I understand, but you can always watch a repeat of this talk here on Facebook and also on my YouTube channel in case you came in late and you wanted to follow this discussion. So thank you so much, Lydia. Thank you so much, Duncan. And thank you so much, the viewers who have been here. And I see here doing a good job, sir, Lydia. Okay, somebody was asking you, Lydia, you in UK? And of course you live in the UK. Okay. She said she has seen you somewhere in the UK.
Oh dear, that's good.
Jane Pauline Mwangi. Okay, look for Lydia. Maybe she's your neighbor and you don't know.
Yes,
that is her Facebook name, Lydia Tett Olet. And thank you, Duncan. I want to leave you to go and attend to your family duties. And I hope for us to continue this discussion again in the near future.
Thank you. And you're most welcome. And thank you, viewers.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Have a nice evening, Duncan. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
And Lydia, thank you too. See you next Monday.
Bye.
Bye, the viewers. And all the viewers who have been here, also thank you so much. You remember you can follow me on Facebook and also here on YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you're watching for the first time, please follow. Tune in again next Monday for another parenting edition, the 17th edition. Me, Lydia, and more new guests. From me, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day or your evening, wherever you are. And God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.